Then number 3 is One Piece by what is it? Can't even remember his name. Ichiro Oda. Now, this series does not really have the substance like some of the other series have, but for sheer storytelling, imagination, and genius, this really gets that high on the list. I'm talking, this guy really thought out everything about this series. It's 54 volumes in America, and it has no ending in sight, and the stories just keep getting better and better. The fights get better and better. You have these great characters that all work together seamlessly. It's not like there's one character that's the pervert, one character that's kind of the stoic type, one character that's the token chick, and one character that's like the comic relief. Like every character has like that one other character that sort of supports him. Like when Luffy wants to gorge himself on food, it's not just him, it's him and Frankie. Or if there's people that are being stoic and are kind of like, psh, those idiots, it's not just Zolo, it's Zolo and Nami, or Zolo and Nico Robin. Like, there's somebody on that crew that has another crew member that relates to them and they can have fun with. And I think that's a great sort of way to get the different characters to interact with each other. Also, the world that they are set in is so imaginative and so well written. You have the pirates, and you also have the Navy, and the Navy is trying to govern the seas, and there's a lot of this sort of anarchy that's sort of going along with the storylines, where it's like corrupt dictators or political officers that are downtroddening the people, and Luffy and the gang sort of go in and form a sort of self-made coup d'etat against them. And really, that is kind of a lot of the story arcs later in the series, is the opposition of a corrupt power at the top of them. But it's done in a lot of unique ways that keeps the story entertaining. And when it comes to One Piece, no character is wasted. There's not this sort of, it's not like in Dragon Ball where you had Upa, who was basically there so that his papa could die, and then Goku goes and climbs the Kami Tower and goes to talk with the cat, and the cat then teaches them how to fight better, and then he goes back down and defeats General Tao. It's not like that, where Upa just is in there for a little bit and then he's gone and we never see him again. Characters in One Piece reappear just out of nowhere and well written into the story, and you actually don't even completely forget about characters in One Piece. Let me just bring you one example, which I think is the best example of how he keeps reworking characters into the story over and over again over time. In Volume 8 of One Piece, there is a minor henchman character that is a part of Captain Arlong's crew of the fishmen pirates, and his name is Hachi, and he's sort of like this octopus guy right here, and he's kind of like the muscle or the strong arm of the group, and he's also kind of a fun-loving kind of character, even if he does kind of is kind of not entirely for good. Of course, it's not entirely his fault. He just has a really bad boss that tells him what to do. But we actually don't see Hachi at all after Arlong is defeated in about volumes 11 or 12, until we get about halfway through volume 20 right here, and what Ichiro Oda does, which I think is brilliant for storytelling, is for the beginning of every single chapter, he has a tiny little mini story going along that lines. And here we can see, if you look real close right there, there is a small six-armed looking man jumping off of a what looks to be like a Navy ship right there, and we see that it is Hachi back to have his own little mini story here, and this is how he is reintroduced to us again throughout the Alabasta story arc, right? The Alabasta sort of fights right here, and it sort of continues on like this. Until we meet right here in Hachi Walks on the Seafloor, volume story 12, Cammy the Mermaid and Starfish Papaga, and these two characters are introduced right here in volume 21 of One Piece. Now, the whole Hachi Walks on the Seafloor kind of continues until we get to volume 25 here, and the little mini stories here end with Hachi opening his own fried octopus ball shop stand with Cammy and Papagu together, and Hachi having a happy ending. And it could have ended with this. That could have been the end of Hachi's magnificent adventure, and we'd have been none the happier for that. But we see them again as later on in One Piece volume 50 right here, where it is near the end of volume 50 that we are actually introduced once again to Cammy the Mermaid, and over in the corner up there, Papagu, her little, I think that's like an almanite kind of sea mollusk there of a sidekick. And of course, with Cammy and Papagu, we also would be eventually introduced to their sidekick and our old friend Hachi later on in the volume. And there's Papagu right there, the starfish, and it's just it's amazing that we have a character that started out as just a minor henchman villain back in like volume 8, and then became sort of this little side sort of story through volumes 20 through 25, and then shows up again in volume 50 through 53 for the Sayabudi story arc to sort of explain what's going on in Fishman Island. It's just, I have no idea how long Ichiro Oda was planning some of these stories, because he just knows how to put the right character for the right moment and everything meshing together perfectly to create this big network of characters that all work to expand the One Piece universe, filling in storylines and giving explanations to things without it feeling drug out and just sort of, okay, Mr. Know-It-All, tell me about this thing that the reader needs to know about to get what's happening in the story, sort of thing. And that is really where One Piece excels greatly, is in the way that he develops characters. Every single character in One Piece has a backstory devoted to them. Almost an entire volume of backstory devoted to them. He really knows how to pull on your heartstrings, make you laugh, make great action fights. He can do anything, and I hope he does keep doing all of that. But that is number 3 for my list.